And is it islands? Yes, it is islands. Okay, so I'm not going to put on back the fog of war because it's obviously kind of useless at this point. And to answer the question, the first home map was the Arabia was for the Berserkers home map, and this home map, the islands, is for Killers. So yep, it was exactly as it should have been. And well, I was wrong with my guess at the very beginning. So, looking at the fish placement here, looking at the four corners, it seems like the right corner is pretty nice indeed overall, with plenty of fish. The bottom one is not bad either, but the left one is kinda empty-ish around this department. But I'm kinda thinking it's not going to be all that crucial, because right next to the wall here, it's quite full, but at the same time, it's not all that close to the shoreline. So potentially, if yellow places some dog here or whatever, he's not going to be all that happy about all the time that he is going to be losing with the fishing ships going back and forth between the fish there and the dock. First we have a look at the mainland is river plantation, and looking at his resources, yeah, this is unsafe stone. He seems to be having unsafe stone times too, so he won't be having an easy time gathering enough of it for potential extra TCs and the castles, which is not definitely something that he would like, and he will be all that much forced with his teammates to actually win the water, because otherwise that's not going to be ideal at all. The gold is nice, that's not a problem anymore for him, but he also, the tree lines are kinda slightly weird, I would say, as they are also quite close to the shoreline, pretty much all of them besides this one. But I kind of thinking that he should be finding enough room for the potential safe gathering, like here from the middle, but still could be easily targetable from potentially some kind of Castle Age boats, or maybe in the Imperial Age. So let's see about that, if that's going to play some kind of role in the game. Switching into another player from Klrz. That's going to be Lele, who is right now trying to make sure that he lures those deer in, so that he doesn't have to waste extra resources for how is it called, for the mill. And well, he does have extra relic, which is pretty nice indeed. This seems to be reasonably okay, and I'm kinda hoping he won't actually build the dock here. That would be kinda unfortunate for him, but I would be guessing that he already knows what the layout is. So far he doesn't, so he still could make that mistake. He still could make it actually. So let's see if that will happen. So far he's going with this one gal to the top, so he is probably not going to fall for it anytime soon. And yeah, if he is going for that, that basically means that he won't be falling for it, as he will be having extra time to scout with the scout cavalry and make sure that he is not making any kind of mistake. Yeah, he seems to be going for a pretty defensive dock at the very back, and a pretty lucky spot for him. He doesn't know that there are quite a lot of fish here, so that was a bit lucky, because if he went a bit south, a bit more south, exactly at this peninsula that we were talking about slightly earlier, he would be definitely disappointed when he saw where the fish are. So the third player from Killers is the VIK. I was looking for him with some extra stone and whatever. Seems to be that all of those fights, or rather, all of those mines are pretty much safe, and he is also kind of attempting a bit of a defensive dock. Yeah, that's more defensive than anything, if he goes for it. And is he going to continue right next to the corner here? Seems so at this point. But yeah, he's going to be having quite a decent amount of fish here, so not really any kind of problem for him. And looking at how the islands are shaped, especially for his opponent Purple, it kind of seems at this point that this is going to be a very safe dock indeed for him, and he might be switching into one more aggressive minded about here later for the second or the third one. We'll see about that. Looking at the next player right now from VIK, the first one is going to be Winchester. Save gold, save stone at this point. This stone is not really safe, even though it's not unsafe either. It should be it's going to be maybe abusable if they lose the water in Castle or in Peril. It could be in the range of those boats, but let's see about that. And he's also having one relic, right on his mainland. So that's also pretty nice indeed for him. Otherwise, he has also placed a very defensive dock at the back here, so he's not thinking about some kind of offensive very soon, and he's also going for a loom at this point. Okay, and what's this island at the back? It's just extra stone, And another extra islands are in the middle, so you can't really say that somebody is having some kind of advantage at this point. Extra stone in the middle as well, and this is 1 gold. And well, there's one extra island actually at the very back, but that's not really Klrz, because obviously it's between River Plantation and Lavy Head, so it's going to be open for the taking. And I'm kind of thinking there's going to be quite a lot of battle about this, because these 3 gold mines are going to be pretty crucial indeed. The next player to have a look at when we are starting to advance into the feudal age at this point is a warrior. That was the yellow player. Pretty great play from him in the last map, and he's also opting for a defensive dock at the very back, and he will be quite happy about the distribution of fish right at this shoreline, so that's pretty nice. And also dropping second dock right next to it, so he's definitely going for a lot of defense here. And well, Purple going for one yet. No, he's still having just 1 dock, and is he maybe thinking about one at the very back? Oh yeah, he definitely is. And he will be quite soon finding himself in a kind of unfortunate situation, because Orange is just trying to reinforce the position here. So it's going to be basically 2 versus 1, and is maybe Winchester going to continue with third dock here as well? Kinda curious where he's going to place it, if it's going to be here, or maybe somewhere at the bottom, or potentially help with his allies. Well, he'll see pretty soon, but otherwise let's have a look at the island here with some extras. Mines seem to be altogether safe. Yeah, just this one potentially maybe could be problematic, but I don't really see all that much of a significant problem from that. But the last player we are looking at is Lavihet at this point, who is playing the Vikings, and she is right now having also defensive dock at the back, but I'm kinda thinking that this guy, or rather Gal, is going to build right about here, and that might be a good placement for the docks as well. So she is making use of this cove, so that she has basically somewhere to retreat with her boats and defend right next to the docks. And otherwise, those mines are safe. Stone is not safe. This is definitely unsafe stone at this point. And otherwise, yeah, this is also pretty nice gold, so not a problem for her whatsoever. Unfortunately for her, River Plantation was advancing faster into the feudal age, and well, he is Han, so he will be fighting against Viking. So let's see how that will go, but he is definitely having the upper hand, as he's already sending his boats in, and he's having 4 docks at this point, so it's going to be a pretty good galley spam at the very start. So, is Lavihead going to finish this dock? Probably not, because it's just now starting to be built. So yeah, that's not really good news for her, as she will have to switch to somewhere else, and this is definitely going to slow her down, and should be winning some kind of advantage for River Plantation, as he will be having 4 docks against 3 for pretty decent amount of time at the very beginning, which is usually the most important part of the water battles between equally skilled players. So let's see how that will develop. A bit of a kite-in from River Plantation here. Quite nicely played, it seems. But he needs some extra reinforcements, because otherwise he's just going to find himself overpowered pretty soon. Which is exactly what is happening. And yeah, River Plantation will be having to retreat pretty soon. So looking at the top battle at this point, where Orange, the VIK, is fighting Winchester, who has still just 1 dock, and he's again fighting against 4, so not ideal for him at all. And is he sending extras from the forefront? Yeah, he's having all kinds of weird docks at this point, I would have to say, Winchester, because they are basically just for the economy of the fish, and he's maybe hoping that it could be still enough with proper micro and saving some of the boats here, that he can still overpower his opponent, even though he is fighting right next to his military buildings, meaning that he can send quite a lot of reinforcements faster into the battlefield than Purple can. But at the same time, it seems like that Purple is doing way better in here. He's having 30 release against just 27 for Optivik. So yeah, that's yet another sign that he's actually doing quite better. And looking at fishing boats, we have Twig at 4, whereas Winchester is having just 6, or rather 6, so that's 2 more than his opponent, and that's quite interesting at this point. And also, what shouldn't be missed is the 19 boats from Warrior. It's quite a lot, and he's really having a pretty sweet corner for that himself. And yep, this is definitely the difference between him and his opponent, Lale, who is basically attempting to do the same thing, having a lot of fishing boats, but he's having a lot of emptiness here, and he will be having to discover this one on the very left. We'll go 4, and oh yeah, he still doesn't know about it. He still doesn't know because he hasn't scouted. Oh my god, he might be thinking he's basically screwed, but he has quite a lot of fish there, and he will be having to scout there first to make proper use of that bountiful sea. How's it looking at the bottom? Well, house is being kinda denied here, as the villager is still well in the range of those galleys. And we see the advances into Castle Age from both pockets, from Warrior and Lele. They are playing Japanese. Ah, okay, so they are actually both Japanese. So, yeah, let's see who is going to be better in the execution of the strategy there. These numbers seem to be better for Lavihet, I would say. And that's basically reflected in the fact that River Plantation is retreating himself. Yeah, he's basically not engaging because he's thinking he wouldn't win. And looking somewhere else, we can see that Purple is right now being forced back because that's exactly because he is fighting right next to the military buildings of his opponent. So the possibility of replenishments is much better for Orange, and he is making that count. But is he going to be doing enough with that? At this point, I'm not exactly sure. But still, the battle seems to be pretty pitched and nobody is winning in some kind of commanding manner. So is maybe Purple attempting to go for something better? Well, he was probably repairing this boat, it seems, with the villager, but I was maybe thinking that he might be wanting to build some extra docks, either here at the very back or just plain here in the attack. I'm not exactly sure that Orange would be seeing that. Let's look at, yeah, he definitely wouldn't, so that's definitely a place that he could place a dock very nicely, and that could help him, because he would be fighting at a pretty nice spot. Right now you can see that Lele is joining the battle here, which is also a pretty important spot in the game. So you can see this is going to be a 2 versus 1 with war galleys, which is a huge problem for Winchester, as he will definitely have to retreat at this point and call for help from his ally. Green is building something now, even though he's not yet war galleys even. That's kind of interesting, but he will be joining at the top, it seems, pretty soon, because he is also going in the north direction at this point. But still, this is a pretty huge window of opportunity for Klrz to win the battle at the very north, because obviously this is a 2 versus 1, which Purple cannot fight, and he's right now just retreating because he's advancing into the Castle Age as is Lavihet, and he's hoping that he can save those boats and advance into the Castle Age and upgrade into war galleys and then engage the battle with his green ally, who is already sending some extra boats in there and hoping that he can help his ally soon enough. At the very bottom, it seems like that River Plantation has been forced a bit back, but he is, yeah, this is basically just a strategic retreat because he's not wanting to waste his resources and his boats, so he's just maybe waiting for advance into the Castle Age, but he should really hurry up because Lavihet is advancing herself and she will be having a huge upper hand with the war galleys against just normal galleys. And the River Plantation is not really advancing anytime soon. I'm kind of thinking that right now he is hoping that he actually can, but still, that's just going to take some time, and this is going to be like 2, maybe 3 minutes of a difference between him and his opponents, which is not exactly something that he will be all too happy about. At the same time, at the north, the battle is definitely developing in expected manner with the 2 versus 1, but they should hurry up because soon Winchester will be having the war galleys himself, and that will be a huge threat for the attempts of Klrz to win the water at the very top. River Plantation right now clicking into Castle Age, so they're just going to be a race with time to actually stay alive long enough to actually help himself against this huge army of galleys that are soon going to be war galleys. And well, can he actually manage? I kind of think so, because in the first battle he is having a pretty huge amount of boats at this point. Well, that's quite a lot of them, and yep, it's going to be a pretty tough battle, even for the war galleys at this point. So let's see about this engagement, that is going to be pretty crucial. And looking at the minimap, oh, you can see that green's actually not helping in the direct battle with orange. Okay, so yeah, Teal is going to be retreating, so let's switch back into the battle here with finally war galleys from purple here, and you looking at the minimap, green is not helping in this battle, but he is helping in orange's base, because he's just attempting to basically stall any kind of reinforcements that might be trickling in, and letting Winchester at this point battle it out, and he's doing a pretty good job, but not good enough obviously, as he's fighting still two players, and even though he's wrecking those normal galleys, yeah, that's pretty much going to be it, and more galleys are going to be pretty soon from them, because, yeah, the upgrade is right now finishing. And this is pretty much it, and let's switch into the battle here, where Winchester is also with one of the boats here, but at the same time you can see that Orange is having a pretty huge army, and that's exactly enough that should be stopping the green onslaught on his home base. So let's see about that. It's going to be just one of the 5 docks gone, so not really much of a problem. And well, I'm still kind of seeing that the water battle is definitely going for Klrz, as the battle on the north is doing much better than the one on the south from the Berserkers. Even though Warrior is right now advancing into Imperial Ages, which is going to be a pretty serious advantage for them. And where is River Plantation? On the left, hiding, trying to secure the boats here, and yeah, waiting for the War Galley upgrades. Then he will engage, possibly with quite a lot of boats in his docks, but they are really being killed pretty soon, or rather pretty fast. So it's just going to be a lot of wasted resources at this point. Yeah, he's just buying time, trying to buy time with the Botkin Arrow, for the Botkin Arrow and War Galley. And he's already closing in, so yeah, upgrade anytime now, and here we go. And this should be a pretty good engagement at this point, exactly for the reason that we have been stating earlier, and that's fighting next to your own military buildings. So while we had this retreating, and I was looking at the north, well, yellow is doing a pretty good job against purple, because purple is basically out of the water, as he's having literally just one dock. Oh, he's rebuilding at the other side of the island, but still, that's kind of not enough, because obviously green is not having enough boats at this point, but once he is having galleons, that might be a bit of a problem with Bracer. But yellow with orange are having pretty huge navy armies at this point, so I'm not really thinking that even the galleons are going to really turn the battle around, and maybe we should be thinking about some kind of landing on the middle islands, because they are very strategically positioned, and some extra castles. That could really be it. That could be something that could still help VIX win the battle all around. Well, let's have a look at the pretty important engagement at the very bottom, because once Lavihead actually loses the battle against River Plantation, I'm kinda thinking that's going to be it for the water battle, and Berserkers will be losing it, as they are not winning the north at all. They are definitely losing, but not really convincingly, and if Lavihead could somehow overpower his opponent, or rather her opponent, River Plantation, that would be it, but that's not happening, because yet again, the ability to reinforce from your buildings is very strong strategical advantage, and it's winning at this point. Not exactly sure why River Plantation is not pursuing at this point, as he's having the advantage here, but he's maybe not wanted to make the same mistake as Labi had, fighting the next to the opponent buildings, and he will be probably biding his time for the Imperial Age himself, even though looking at the resources on the top left, that's not happening anytime soon. So in the middle here we have a bit of an engagement where green is trying to help with his galleons and some of the purple boats here, and well, this is a pretty good ejection, because yeah, they kind of want to engage at this point, as they are thinking they are having the upper hand. So are they? Come on, those two boats, come on orange, send them somewhere. They are standing there for literally at least 5 minutes. They could be doing a lot of good in the battle here at the very bottom. So Klrz are kind of forced to do something else, and I'm kind of curious why aren't they maybe switching into the mainland here? Because this is a part of the island that Winchester is not paying any attention to at all. And looking how Lela and Twig should be seeing how it's actually looking, that it's kind of a peninsula, so that means that Winchester won't be really paying all that much attention there. They might be making a pretty nice attempt at landing there, and that could be a pretty nasty surprise for the opponents. Otherwise, not really much happening anywhere else. Quite a lot of navy from yellow, not engaging anywhere. And is he going to help at the south? Because it seems like that red... Oh yeah, no, she hasn't won the battle. It was just that they were actually going the other way around the island here, with River Plantation going the north side, whereas Lavi had going the south, and this is pretty much just still 1v1 and not really anything that should be decided by just normal engagement between those two guys. What's important to notice at this point is is that Lala and the VIK are both advancing into Imperial Age, which is going to turn into a pretty huge advantage very soon after they advance, because Lala is having a quite decent army, and once he is having Galleons and the VIK as well, this is going to be just 1 Galleons from green against 2 Galleons from both Lala and VIK. So yep, this could definitely help indeed if purple cannot amass a lot of enough boats and also advance into Imperial Age pretty soon. And he is not advancing into Imperial Age anytime soon. Anytime soon. Yeah, he's not having the resources at all, even though he's kind of working for it. But still, there's going to be quite a few minutes before that happens. And well, yep, this is just right now trying to buy some extra time for the Galleons of both the Klrz players. Yeah, they're just trying to raid around here. And trying not to be caught in some kind of bad engagement. Yellow is maybe would be doing a better job if he actually helped at the south here, because obviously there's not going to be happening any kind of fight on the water at the north unless they are both having the galleons that we are speaking about, rather talking about all the time. Well, we have a bit of a lag here, because obviously the water battle is getting pretty pitched and everybody is having quite a decent population limit on the sea here. So this is yet another engagement between Labyhead and River Plantation, and it's still going to be a 1v1 between them, and I'm kind of thinking this is basically going for Labyhead because she's sending quite a lot of reinforcements in, and River Plantation is thinking exactly the same, and he will be retreating back to his home base, but I'm not thinking that this is some kind of convincing win. Yeah, this is definitely not. This is basically just one skirmish of many that are going to come here, unless somebody joins in. So, some kind of orange fishing boats here, not doing anything, with yellow just waiting for the Imperial Age and running from the purple army, trying to make sure that he is galleons first, and yep. Labyhead advancing into Imperial Age here, so is River Plantation going for them as well, or is he already in? No, he's still castle. And he is not advancing, he's going for Karinin at this point. That's something to help, but still the Imperial Age is going to be a bit more problem, because Winchester is advancing as well, and it's going to be 3 versus 2 in the Imperial Age. And yeah, the opportunity that Klrz have of actually winning the battle here on the water through the double galleons will be, yeah, kinda short-lived. Galleons from yellow, he's already engaging, should still wait, he is the galleons, he's just halfway through. And even though purple is retreating, which he shouldn't at this point when green isn't, I'm kinda thinking that this was a pretty good engagement actually for green with purple to take. They maybe didn't realize that he's already in Imperial Age, which means he's going to be having galleons pretty soon, and well, the galleons at the top from the Vikings are already winning against the green player here, and this is just going to be a pretty nice convergence of the yellow galleons and the orange galleons, and on both armies of purple, with the green and purple not having galleons yet, so this is going to be a pretty huge wreckage. Yeah, this is definitely aiming for a pretty important battle here, because they will be having nowhere to run, and purple is right now recognizing exactly that. He's buying time. This was a very cleverly played, because he basically just lured Lala into a huge mistake at this point, and that was not engaging at both times with those both armies. So yeah, this was a pretty great strategical play or tactical by Winchester, because he just delayed all this army and they are not doing anything at all. Yeah, this was damn well played, and orange has basically lost absolutely everything in this crossfire, and right now they have switched this battle from 2 versus 2 into 2 versus 1 times 2. Oh well, this was pretty great play. This was stellar play of an expert player. This was pretty important indeed, and exactly won the battle that should have been going for Klrz, and it wasn't in the end. Looking at the south, it seems like that Labyhead is having an advantage here. Well, and since she's going to be having galleons pretty soon, and River Plantation is stuck in Castle Age for like forever and won't be moving anytime soon anywhere, he's basically out of all the boats and he is losing. Yeah, he's basically lost the water at this point, and he will be having to hope that his allies can actually win the battle at the very north. So let's see if the yellow push will be enough. I'm kinda thinking no, because he's right now going to be, yeah, in the pincers by both purple and the green, who is right now having a pretty huge advantage in numbers. And how's it looking here? Where orange is trying to actually join in. So are they going to engage in a proper battle? No, probably not. They just going to wait for a bit better opportunity for them. A bit better opportunity for them, and well, I was maybe hoping that that was a transport ship, but not yet. And this is still probably going to be resolved just on the water. At the very south, you can see that Yellow is actually helping his teammate Teal, who is trying to amass a bit of a boat here at the very back of the island, basically relinquishing the position at the forefront. And that's kinda unfortunate for him, because he needs to win it, because this gold is soon going to run out, and then he will need this mine. And that's not going to be all that safe from all those galleons with 10 range. Yes, definitely in range of them, and not going to be safe at all. So yeah, this is just waiting for the right time for the engagement between Yellow, Teal and Red player, and otherwise quite a lot of galleons at the top here, just waiting for the right engagement as well, and Yellow also. Okay, so this is a bit of an interim here, and Lele is just playing foot in tribute to River Plantation, because he definitely needs to advance into the Imperial Age, because if he doesn't, this battle is basically toast. Of those 3 galleons against just 2. So yep, this is definitely the aim of the Klrz team at this point. And we are still waiting for engagement that either of the yellow or orange player would be happy about. Right now, orange is engaging though, and is engaging in the right moment. I kind of think in the knot. He certainly is helping to buy some time to his yellow ally, but still he doesn't have enough boats for this kind of engagement. And we are still waiting for a bit of extra gold, and here we go. Here we go into Imperial Age, but as soon as he actually advances into Imperial Age, he is right now calling GG, because he has been caught yeah, between a rock and a hard place, because Slavi had played this very nicely. Advance with one of the fleet from the right, and the second one from the left, basically just closing off any kind of escape route, which means that there won't be any boats to turn into galleons soon, and that means basically it for the battle. So that was a very interesting water battle indeed, with some very interesting strategies and tactical plays in there, especially the one in the middle by Winchester that basically won the game overall. That was supposed to be a battle that was going for Lele with Twig, but he just made it so. He turned the 2 versus 2 into 2 versus 1. And well, that's not a battle that you want to take if you are on the 1 department. So let's have a look at the post game at this point. With Lavi had yet again winning absolutely everything. Right now she wasn't actually in the pocket, but still she was playing pretty well. But she was also Viking, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that's kind of a pretty good civilization for the water. But overall, very well played by her. Very well played. Also biggest army by quite a lot actually. By like 30. It's quite decent indeed. Alright then. GG.